Go and set a few bits up. See if I can find it on the iPad. Yeah. So, there we go. I think we're live on the iPad. There we go. Perfect. Bear with me a sec. There we go. All done. Right, try to set this up. So no, you can't set it up before you're live because you can't see what's going on, but we are live. Wait for a couple of people to join. See what we got. If you're watching, if you're on, say hello, let me know where you're from. If you're returning, say hello again. Always top me topping because I hate loose tops. Came on probably about 10 minutes earlier than I usually do, or when I posted. Crack on. Had a busy day. Here we go. Woody boy, I'm good, thank you very much, buddy. How you getting on? You had a good week? You started your logs yet? Been chatting last week. It's a pain in the backside, this is, because I've not been in here since the last live feed. I'm looking around, everything's feeling a bit messy, and I said to myself before, I've got to sort it all out. I've got loads of stuff to get done in this garage, but it's been so busy at work, and I've had loads of stuff to do, helping my dad out at his house and stuff like that. I've been back on the tools again today. I've been doing some plastering. Let me get rid of that notification. There we go. He's had issues with his plastering, so I said, look, let me get my lad down, help out. So I've been re-plasterboarding and stuff today. I vouched for myself, said I'll never touch a tool again like that, and I ended up doing it. I have all the gear and I have a good idea, and it never, you can't beat the outdoors. Oh, never again. Woody boy, I'm not bad, bud, being busy, being these holidays, doing the garden. Hope start next week or some the logs. Brilliant. Did you manage to order yourself some logs, Woody? Did you get your Arctic load, or you just started with your hard waste? Or whereabouts did you get to on that one? Oh, and for anyone watching, I'll probably say again later on, Happy Easter. Sometimes when you're busy and you grow up a bit, I know it sounds a bit silly, but you just don't even keep track of holidays anymore. I've always had like a rule of thumb. This year's a bit different, but just because the banks are on holiday doesn't mean I am. Technically, I've took the bank holiday weekend off, but I'm not actually holidaying it. I'm helping out, doing a few bits and bobs at my dad's, doing some maintenance bits on one of the vehicles, and hopefully get a chance to sort this out tomorrow or Monday. So it'd be great to get all this sorted out. There's 1,000 things I could be doing right now. I'm just looking around thinking there's 1,000 things I could be doing, but nothing that I can do while I'm on the live, because you won't be able to hear me over compressors and stuff. The next live I'm going to do at the woodyard, I think. It's just, I'm just playing with it now, seeing how it goes. I'm going to start doing it at the woodyard and stuff like that, and got a few people I'm going to be doing lives with. But I wanted to make sure I understood how it works, and you know what, 3rd week on the bounce, and I've got the hang of it. Setting up's a lot better. I didn't have to cancel this one like I did the last one and like go straight live again. It's all working. I applied to a Facebook load of a guy I would dealt with going some free to get some free timber. Spoke to a local estate, made a deal for free wood. Do you know what? That's always the best way of making deals, right? When you're starting out, a lot of people don't realise this. If you could do yourself a deal and you can make some money off that deal, I count it as an investment, right? Let's say you value yourself at £200, for example, or £150 a day. Well, whatever you value yourself at, whether it's £100 a day, £80 a day, whatever. If you work out how much it's going to cost to help someone out for a day, and you get a load of wood, you tell me what other precious metals or stocks, or without some fluky crypto thing going on, how many times could you say, right, for that 100 quid I've just done there, or my time, you haven't even had to put the money into your time, that you can invest it, and by the end of the year, as long as you've done everything right and stuff, you'll get double, triple your money back usually. You know, not many other things you can really do that with. So it is a really good way of cracking on. We still do freebies now, so if you're local enough to us, I have 2 wagons just in the yard. And some trailers, and if some of the local tree guys who drop to us turn around and say, look, there's quite a bit here, can you come and pick up some logs for me? Yes, we will, as long as it's on the front garden and someone's there to help load. Sometimes there's not, if it's going on in the evening, and at the end of the day, I've had a load of free ringed up wood for the our waste pile. It's got to be a tight radius, and other than that I might send a cabin drag down or something like that just to go and fetch it all up. But free wood is always the best way. You make your most money off free wood. You know, you don't turn down free wood. I know a lot of people, you know, get the really small diameter stuff, actually go for a chipper. That's what I call chipper grade. But anything above chipper grade, free wood, we'll take it. We always have done, and we always will do. Always remember where you come from as well. So if you started off on a log splitter or an axe or whatever, and you're working off hard waste or free wood, and that made you your money to, you know, develop into a bigger business, if you can still keep that free wood side going as long as it's profitable, keep that going, because you'll still keep making your money. Never turn down money. Oh, and I spoke to Ian Gregory from Logs and Saws. You are right, Woody. They can't sort that out at the minute. The Easter maize. I couldn't believe it. I didn't realise that they stopped doing the Easter maize. It's a shame, really. But no, he hasn't got any stocking of what you wanted. But I did reach out and ask Ian. I rang him up and I said, "Well, what's the catch?" And he told me, and I was like, "Blimey!" So yeah. So Easter maize looks like it's a trouble to get it in at the minute. Mainly to do with the certification. It needs to be operated in the UK. So, yeah, you taught me something there, Woody boy. I didn't even know that happened. 5 people on now. Get in there. The post did say 7:30. Usually it takes a bit longer for a few people to get on. But if you're new here, say hello. And we're going to start getting into it soon. And if you're not new here, still say hello. Let me know who's watching, where you're from, what you're up to, how your week went. Got to admit, I had a pretty slow week, I think. I had to take 2 days to catch up on a load of invoices I didn't send, which I should have sent, and chase some payments and stuff like that. And we all got sorted pretty quick, and I had to book a load of stuff in for the filming. So a lot of Google meetings, Google Meets. That was a new thing for me last year as well. When people said like online meetings, I used to think Skype, but no, there's Zooms and Google Meets. Google Meets I'd use. I don't really know Zoom or anything like that, but no, there's some really, really exciting stuff coming, and I can't wait to show you all what we got in the pipeline. What we got? I think they would have me to make a lot of changes to these to make it anyway. Yeah, you're 100% right. It's just a shame, really, because as the way I see it, if you're not a donut and you can take liability, you're doing. If anyone thinks, right, and I've always said this, if anyone thinks that your manual where you have to push 2 levers, that no one joins over them levers to make your splitty ram go. If these companies think that does not happen, I can tell them it does. I can put them to every single yard. In fact, I've not met a single firewood producer who hasn't modified a basic splitter in some way to make it easier, because they expect you to stand behind the ram like that while your wood's over there. It doesn't work. So it's a common sense, and I'm telling you, if you chop your finger off on something, they ain't paying out. I don't know why they're making this certification thing so, you know, important. It's not. It really isn't. I think Jaff's coming on later on. Hope to see Richard on here as well. Let me know what you reckon to these times as well. Obviously, it's an odd time, but some of our American followers prefer it later on. So some are saying 9 o'clock, but then 9 o'clock on a Saturday night for me might feel a bit too late. I don't know, but if these times are too early, too late, wrong day even, let me know. I don't want to do it too late in the week, one, because usually I have to get up early, and you know, I'm working obviously with the timber, and plus I don't think anyone wants to stay up at 9 o'clock at night after up doing timber all day, watching someone talk about and having a community about timber. You might do, you might not, but obviously every bit of feedback helps. So if the times aren't good, let me know. If you want it later or earlier, that'd be good. And what did you reckon to the last video as well? I tell you what, that video there, apart from when I've done the machines, that video I've had the most feedback on. Like, it's unbelievable. I couldn't believe, you know, how many people commented on and replied and spoke to me about the cage in the bag video. You know, a really good video that was. I didn't realise. I'm worse than my missus. I have to clean sometimes. When it comes to this sort of stuff, I always have to clean up. I think they would have to make a lot of changes to these. I mean, personally, I've seen that one. Would you consider getting involved in building a process, or do you think there is already perfect spiritual process for you? That's a good question. Do you know what? That is a good question. I'd definitely get involved. I'd help. I'd give it some input. Have I built my own log splitter before? I was going to. I could have done. Price-wise, if you're going to do it as a market, you may struggle, I think, because just the tooling alone and set everything up so you can keep remaking it would be an interesting one, and I think not very cost effective. But what do you mean? Do you mean like making my own splitter processor or helping a company develop one? If you clarify that a bit for me, I'll probably be able to, you know, we've got a few more people on us, 7 on. So getting this baby going. Again, if you haven't been here before, say hello. If you have been before, say hello again. Jaff, when you watch this back, you're late to our date. building one for myself, I don't think I would, no. Splitter wise, maybe if I needed it. Again, they're dead simple to make. So RSJ, RAM and splitting head is basically where you want to start. Then after that, you're just building it and building it up. Can you overcomplicate things? Yes, I've seen a lot of people make their own splitters. Hydraulic wise, set up the pumps, getting the right speed, power supply, whether you go off, you know, engines, tractors, whatever. I think it might be a bit too much for me. I think I could definitely do it. If someone said, make me this splitter, can you help me out? I'd definitely go down and help out, weld it all up and get it all running right. To me, I think if you take away the time you spend on it, depending on how far along in your business you are, the time you spend doing it and the money you spend buying the parts and making it, I think you'll be able to buy just as good of a splitter to do it. Processor even, I think you're wasting your time again myself. Make your own processor, blimey. But you look what goes into the sort of things like the firewood processors that they make. They're in-house made. And there's a few UK guys who make some splitters as well. A lot of it's done abroad, to be honest. And I know a lot of, you know, the firewood factory, the Splitter 400, a lot of work goes into them. And they don't produce that many of them per year because of the amount of... They have a long waiting list and the amount of delay it takes to make something, get it to final stages, testing and getting it out there. Again, I think the time you will spend on it, you'll make more just by splitting the wood. So the quicker you get splitting and ringing and selling, the better off you are. Unless you had a lot of free time, I don't think I would, no. Matthew, thanks for doing videos. Good time, right day. Can you do kindling video for me? I do kindling in large bags, but people don't come back. I take the nails out, but thin kindling, not too thick and knotty. So, Matthew, that is a good point, and I probably will do something on that. But while we're in the live, I'll definitely help you out while we're here. When you say take nails out and stuff, are you using pallets and packaging for kindling, or are you using, I know it sounds silly, proper wood? Are you using like timber rounds, cracking them down and making kindling? And then I'll try and help you on that one, buddy. Mark, hello Mark, nice to see you again. You had a good week? Must be better than the UK at the minute. This UK weather cannot make its mind up. One minute it's warm, next minute it's cold. People are debating whether to put the fires on, and there's a good point I'm going to make a bit later on about the weather as well. It's going to be an interesting one in terms of log sales, because I've had a few people who usually order August time and they will buy enough to get through the season. A lot of them had to top up, but a lot of them have topped up their stock but got enough for the year to save transport twice. I didn't ask them to do that. They thought, well, while we're ordering, we're going to, you know, get them back. So, you know, delivering 4 or 5 bags out at a time for people to order in August, it's like, blimey. So hopefully we can fill that slot again at the end of the year, because it'll be interesting to see the shift change. Pallet, mate, thanks for getting back. No problem, Matthew, no problem. Good to have you here, buddy. Pallets are a sticky one. That's what I call it, a sticky one. One of my lads who used to work with me used to always say that, and it's kind of stuck with me since then. So, pallet-wise, I've not seen many people do well with pallets. Now, the reason why I've never seen people do well with pallets, usually firewood producers will create kindling or buy it in and sell it as a package to save people from going left, right and centre, right? When it comes to pallets, there's this big, I want to say, community, right? A group of people who share across the internet that you shouldn't be burning pallets, you shouldn't be doing this, you need proper wood. Now, in one way I agree with them, in another way I don't. So some people say treated, untreated, and it's all about how you market it. So if you're selling it as pallet kindling or kindling, and they're expecting, I don't know, tree round kindling, and they're thinking, I could just do this myself, I can go and fetch some pallets myself, I didn't realise it was that simple. That's where it starts to take a turn, and you'll have a lot of people saying, well, you shouldn't go there, you shouldn't be burning pallets. Let's say they had Susan round for a glass of wine at night and you got the burner going. You should be burning pallets, you should be burning proper kindling and this, that and the other. Whilst what they're saying is not true, there is a bit of truth behind it, and it's all about the marketing, all about the quality. and what you're selling. And what I'd suggest to you, if you can, try and swap over to timber rounds as quick as you can, and that should help you out. Plus denailing, you got a method set up, because I know that takes quite a while. I know plenty of people who do it. I know one bloke who sells to, do you like marinas, like where they have all the canal boats and stuff like that? I know one person who literally just sells to them all year round, and he makes an absolute killing out of it. A market that I struggled to tap into because he was so cheap, affordable, and you know, he's been there for a long time. Mark, weather same there. Yeah, it's a weird one at the minute. I can't work out. Obviously, in the morning, bit chilly. Obviously, I like the cold. That's just me. Midday, sweating. Come 7 o'clock at night, 8 o'clock at night, it's absolutely freezing again. But it's how are your customers taking to it? Are they ordering more wood off you now, or are they just ordering enough to get by? Let me know how the sales are going. And Matthew, is there a particular reason why you do pallets? It'd be good to know as well. Is it cheap? Do you get them for free? You know, share your thoughts. I'll probably give you some marketing advice in a minute as well about that, once I know where we're at. And thanks for your feedback about time and day. Great. So I have some people asking me to do it on Sundays. I'm guessing they're more available Sundays, or they're just chilling out on a Sunday. Some people like going out Saturday night. Trouble is, we're doing live feeds on a Sunday. You got other people like Bucky Billy Ray, for example. He does live feeds on a Sunday, and I wouldn't say tread on anyone's toes, like I can compare my channel to his, but it's like, you know, that's Heat's day. You know, people go over there for that. People come over here for this, and you know, Sundays I like to chill out as well. I like to get videos ready for the next week, etc. I found out by selling firewood bundles I had to educate customers on wood species and dryness. 100%. And I have this discussion a lot. So a lot of people come to me, which I really appreciate, and obviously Woody Boy James, he did the same, and they asked me for advice on, you know, how they do stuff. And my best bit of advice I give anyone, and you know, Woody Boy will back me up on this. I've given him a few little tricks. It's all in the marketing. There's always ideas in the marketing, and it's about education, right? And I've always thought, when people like your general customers and get these funny ideas in the head, like the chimney's going to catch fire every time they burn a bit of softwood, or they're going to block the chimney, or something like that. It's all about the education. And is it our fault that we're not educating our customers, or is it our customers' fault because they're not listening or asking the right questions? So, you know, are we doing enough as an industry? Because I believe the UK is going to be going on softwood a lot quicker than most people think. Yep, great point, Woody. So, pallet free, 3 large bags, £8 each. Compass bag, okay, or sheet feed bags. Did a lot of advertising, but a lot of people turned up. Cost a lot of money. So let me just understand that, because obviously I'm just looking at your previous comment and this comment now. When you say people did they turn up and buy a lot and didn't come back, or they didn't turn up and you didn't sell as many? So obviously I'm a bit confused about that one. Just clarify that for me, and then I'll be able to try and understand and maybe give you a bit of advice on that one. Let me read it again. Pallet free, bags free, large bags £8 each. Yeah, did a lot of adverts, but a lot of people not a lot of people turned up. Cost a lot of money. Sold 75 bags last winter. So what cost a lot of money? The advertising. Because bear in mind, and I want to say this to everyone on here, Advertising should not cost you a lot of money. It should cost you a lot of time, and that's it. Once you put that time, that effort in, you should get a lot further. So whatever you do now, Google, Facebook, social media, whatever you put in people's heads now will have an impact later on in the year. So the SEO on Google, you could do something now. The only way you're going to get that in front of them now is through paid ads. Now, if you're doing free ads and you know you don't want to pay for stuff, start it now. Get in that algorithm. Let the Facebook and Google get to know your brand, know where you serve, do everything like that. I know it sounds silly. YouTube works the same. A lot of people find me through just YouTube suggesting things. That's what you want your Facebook and Instagram and your Google to do. And if you can do it naturally and build it up, so it's called natural growth, you want that to happen. Even if you're not getting the followers, even if you're not getting the likes, once the algorithms know what you're promoting and what you're doing, once they know someone wants something, they will try and promote that to like secure that sale. And what that does is, so people say, oh, I think my phone's listening to me, and you know, I see this pop up because I've been talking about it. It's 100% correct. You are right. It is true. It happens. That's the way marketing works with cookies and stuff. So you need to be that thing popping up. That's what you need to do. And then pay a little bit now and again just to get yourself a bit further forward, maybe in the winter period. But just paying alone, the moment you stop paying, that's it. That's just how it works. So the more natural stuff you do now will push you further on in future. Turned up but did not come back adverts. Okay, so they turned up. So they brought something, but then didn't come back for seconds. Then I think that's what you're doing there. So if that's the case, I'd say product. There's an issue with your product. Either they're not happy with the quality of product, which you could be a determinant of that. Would you use it? Did it do well? You know, did it last a while? Or is it the price of the product? Again, look local, see how much people are selling, what quantities. And one thing that people make a mistake on, and this may not be you, they haven't got a measurable equation for the customer, for example. And I say this with bags of wood all the time. Everyone's bags usually are different sizes. So I know people who sell them at 1.2 meter cube. I know people who sell them at 1 meter cube. I know that people who do 90 by 90 bags, 80 by 80, 85 by 85. And what you find is that the customer does not look at the bag size. They don't really gauge it. They go, is it a builder's bag? And there's nothing wrong with that. But they're comparing, let's say, I don't know, let's say Darren sold at £50 a bag and Jeff sold at £80 a bag. Jeff's bag is 1.2 cubic meters and Darren's bag is 0.5, 0.6 of a cubic meter. A lot of customers just see the price and do not even ask about the size. Some people say, is it a builder's bag? And Darren's not lying, that's his standard builder's bag. Yeah, that's a builder's bag. They don't ask for the volume, they don't ask for a lot of stuff. And what you find is that you may be pricing yourself out. So if you're selling it a bigger quantity, but you're charging more, but everyone around you sells in a smaller quantity and sells a bit cheaper, then you want to try and match that smaller quantity or advertise to that market and say, look, ours are bigger than everyone else's. Our customers get so much wood. It's brilliant. You know, it's a great price. Cost per portion or per point, I call it, of a cubic meter. That is one way to advertise and market it. Do I run into people that want green wood at a discount price? Yes, I do. And do you know what I say to that? It starts with F and it goes with a no. No, I don't. No. So what I tend to say is, we have this wood available and we will not do you a discount price. It makes no difference to me whether I season it or not. If I was short on yard space, that maybe they might have to catch me on a good day. But the price isn't in seasoning. Unless you're kiln drying, that's different. But the price isn't in seasoning, I think. Because if you can, you know, set that there and forget about it, and it's not, you know, you can still operate in your yard and do your stuff, then how is it benefit you selling it cheaper because it's green, right? If you're telling me a business can't hold out for an extra 20 quid for 2 months You think how many extra 20 quids that could be? Depends what your area does as well. So if your area sells a lot of greenwood cheaper, then maybe it's worth hopping on that bandwagon. But for me, I don't know. You're not exactly doing anything. It's just sitting there seasoning. So I try and sell it at the same price. You know, I've always had a big belief that the new standard that we have to sell dry wood, I don't agree with. I like selling dry wood. I think customers deserve dry wood. But the fact in the UK at the minute that you have to do this and you have to do that because that's the law, I don't believe in. And the reason why I don't believe in, because a homeowner can go and get their own timber. And it's, in the UK, you can sell green wood or unseasoned wood under, if it's over 2 cubic metres or something like that, over 20% over 2 cubic metres. What difference does it make on volume? I don't understand that. But another thing is that we're firewood producers, right? We can produce good firewood. At no point did we say we're firewood seasoners. That's what we do. You know what I mean? I know people who buy firewood and season it and sell it as a good product themselves. You will only sell wet wood once, don't get me wrong, right? That's it, and then your customers may walk off because they want something better at that time of year. But being forced to dry wood so early on, offering dry stock, I don't agree with, you know, especially when customers don't. Some people like having green wood so they can do it themselves. They don't want to be sold something that's a year or two season that they don't know is a year or two season. I've seen that quite a bit in the groups. But just for clarity, I do sell seasoned wood. I do enjoy selling a good product. But I just don't agree with the whole mentality behind it. That government say you have to do something and you have to do this because, again, there's nothing stopping that person walking into a woodland like they do. Foraging is a massive thing in the UK, and I'm guessing it is in America. To then turn around and they're not held by the same laws. Shouldn't it be the consumer has to make sure they're burning dry wood? You know, that's just something that's in my head, but I could rattle on about that for days. What you told me about flies in the pub was great advice on a low-cost advertisement, Joe. Yes, it was. That is a brilliant tip. So, for anyone that doesn't know, and don't go treading on my turf either. Go to your local pub, offer them a massive discount or even free. So, this is how I started. I went to a pub, offered them free wood. I said, in return, I want one of these by the bar, and I want one of these by the door. So one's got one side different on the other, right? And what happens is, if the pub's got a log burner, and this is what I tend to do, you've got, I don't know, a couple or a bloke or whatever sat by their fire, or they're looking at that fire going, blimey, that's a good fire, that's burning well. Where did you get your wood from? These up here. Or they pick up the wood and they like the quality, they like the size, they think it's good. You basically sell it, it's selling it, your wood's selling itself. And I think that is a great way of promoting your timber, because a lot of people don't like to take that chance of, are they any good, are they any not, trying to get some more recommendations out there and trying to find out. If your wood can sell itself because people can see it, great. If you've got an advertisement in the pub, imagine in the winter time how many people go for Christmas dinners, pub dinners, have a cheeky pint after work. Then, you know, in pubs is a great place to go. Restaurants might be a bit different because they have their own sort of style, but for the cost of those, I can't remember how many got me. It cost pennies, and the amount of money we got back off that when I first started, great. And once you've done free, well, once I did free for 1 year, I said, look, you know they work, you know it's good wood, I'll do it at cost, and then from there, after cost, I've just stuck at cost for them. Did it? I feel the same. Yes, he says Greenwood at a discount. I don't see the point of. Yeah, you're 100% right. I've done flies and all. So Matthew, so you've done your flies. You had people turn up, right? What would you say to us as a group? Because we're all here. Obviously, Mark's a seasoned pro, as I like to call it. No pun intended. Woody Boy's got some experience. He's building up as well. You tell us where you think you went wrong, or do you not have a complete clue where you went wrong? Honest question. Where do you think you went wrong? Got to go, buddy. I'm watching my grandson. Maybe he will be a cycle chainsaw junkie, 2-cycle chainsaw junkie. Well, I hope he is. Well, have a good evening, Mark. Pleasure seeing you again, and have fun. Also, Matthew, if you've got Facebook or Instagram, drop us a message. Send me your flyers, a photo of your flyers. Send me a photo of the product you sell, and I'll take a look while we're on the live. I'll take a look and I'll be able to understand a bit better. But I get what you're saying, you know, about, you know, what you sell, but I'm just struggling to understand why it didn't sell. Everything sells, just how you market it, whether it's price or whatever. Everything will sell. But it all depends on price and quality, obviously. So send me a photo of it. I'll be interested to take a look. Just looking at the feed, by the way, guys, and girls, if the girls are on. The feed is like, it must be 3-4 minutes out. I think 3 minutes, just by judging the time. According to my iPad now, I've literally just took my first sip of Coke. Well, Pepsi Max Cherry. Can't be doing that now, can I? I think my biggest mistake last time round was I could have gone full-time firewood, and how do I injure myself and regret not taking the chance full-time. That's a good regret to have. That is a good regret to have. A lot of people say, my regret at the beginning, I'd say if I was to do it all again, was to focus more on building custom than building stock. Now, the first year I did it, so this is long before I met Jake, I started up this business here. The first year I did it, and I said, right, I'm going to do this. I must admit, I spent a lot of money in stock, get free wood, chucking people drinks, like when I say drinks, like 20 quid or 50 quid, or even sometimes I create a beer or something for some free wood, helping people out. And I processed a lot of wood on a log splitter with an axe and stuff like that. And I had a hell of a lot of timber, right? I was renting a yard and so on and so forth. And it was great having some good stock, but looking back at it now, for the first year or two while you're building up your name, having the area that I rented, the size of it, the cost of it, if you add up every month, if I spent a lot of time in marketing what we do and maybe doing a few more, I don't know, pop-up shops, come down. I know people who stood in a lay-by as well, so with a sign, just little bits like that, building yourself up. Because when I first started, Facebook groups were a thing. I'm not like old, you know what I mean? But it's, how do I explain it? It's not how it is now. Like a lot of things are more online driven and stuff like that. And I feel I didn't put enough effort into understanding the customer and getting in contact with the customer as I did caring about the wood. So I wanted a good product, plenty of stock. You know, the old guys always said, you got to make sure you have stock. Stock's your main thing. Always look after your supplier, blah, blah, blah. But you really got to think about the customer as well, because there's no point in having stock sat there because you ain't got enough custom for X amount of time. Second year, yeah, it went a lot better, don't get me wrong. Third year sold out, and I keep saying that ever since then, to be fair. And we're quite a few years down the line. So we do sell out every year. And I dry stuff anyway. But no, it's an interesting learning thing as well. And a couple of messages come through. Let's have a look. I didn't even think of that, to be fair. Few people are on holiday because Easter weekend, gone away for the weekend. So this live feed tonight, by the way, isn't going to be as long as it usually is. Just a quick one today, because I've got a few bits to sort out when I go in. I'm up early again tomorrow. We've just sold one of our trucks as well, 4x4 Mitsubishi L200. That's going in the morning as well. So I'm going to sort a few bits out. 6 people on. We're bouncing up in numbers and dropping back down and coming back up. How do you grow a kindling business? Thanks. Again, Matthew, I'd say it's about having a good product and knowing what your consumer wants. Contact your local kindling suppliers or firewood suppliers, right? Go and buy some kindling. That's the first thing I do. I do it with logs. Go and buy some kindling, right? Write down what you got from where, take photo of it, always so you can go back to it, and let's say you spend 40 quid, 30 quid, 20 quid, whatever. That's a start, considering you're getting wood for free anyway. So take a look at what the product ranges are out there. Take a look at the sizes, take a look at the prices, take a look at the standards, right? Once you've done that, to get your name out further and to start, if you can afford it, which I'm guessing you could because you've got free pallets and free bags, I'd say sell it dirt cheap. You've got to give them customers, if your product's the same as everyone else's, you've got to give them customers a reason to buy from you, right? Give them a reason. Once they're in front of you, and once you've got them and you got their, make sure you take their contact information, phone number, email address, whatever. Take that information, and that goes for firewood businesses out there as well. Once you've got their contact details, contacts are contracts at the end of the day. If you get a contact, you can try and sell them anything, not cold calling, but you can sell them. That's your key. You know, people pay for that information, for God's sake. But no, sell a bit cheaper, get your name out there, make sure people are coming in. Don't bother with paid advertising other than flyers. Use your Facebook groups, use your local spotted pages. Maybe say bring someone, recommend someone for every 2 nets of kindling or bags of kindling they buy. We'll give you, maybe even pack some smaller bags. Say we'll give you, you know, a smaller bag for free. And also, if you talk about growing it in terms of production, you want to be looking at something like, I don't know, Kindlet Pro, and using real timber, real, you know, firewood cord rounds to do it. That will produce more kindling than you can sell in, you know, you'll produce that in a day, more than you can ever sell. And they're not dear machines either. If you can invest £4,000 or through, you can even get cheaper second hand. You can find a decent kindling machine and you can produce more kindling than you've done in a whole year, probably in 2 days, roughly, I would have thought. They do produce high volume and you're done. So that's working cost down, you've got that. And I'd honestly just try and sell cheaper to get your name out there. But by the sounds of it, Matthew, if you could just tell me this, does anyone else in your area sell pallet wood as kindling? That's one thing, you know, if you can share that to me, and there may be an answer in that, I don't know. I've been thinking about what to do with the waste products, sawdust, etc. Roughly how much per Arctic load ton could I expect for selling biomass fuel? Can't seem to find any idea of price. Biomass again is a tricky one. At the minute, biomass is going really good, right? So in terms of saw logs coming down that they're just chipping everything at the minute, right? So if they're not paying the most for the decent chip at the minute, they're not going to be paying most for the, I'll say, worst end of the scale. Again, check out a video I did, James, on how to do your like waste offcuts that you get for your process or logging. you can sell that. Landscapers, garden borders. When it comes to your sawdust, horses, farms, racetracks, local garages for spillages. I know one chap who bags it all up. Just has little bags with a tie-off strap. You can, I think he bought loads off eBay. And literally has like a little tie-off strap at the top, plastic bag. He has like a little jig set up. He'll get his shovel, chuck a load in, tip it, and it tips in and keeps it that way. He sells them at, I think, £5 or £6 a bag, which is basically almost like kindling prices. So that'll be good there. And Matthew, if that's the answer, then should you be selling softwood trees as well, or are you charging the same amount as they do for their kindling? Are you charging the same amount, or are they a bit cheaper than you? Or are you a bit cheaper than them? Because that would be the follow-up question, and then I'll be able to give you a definitive answer on what I think is the problem. There's a chap in Wales that I know as well, which I found quite interesting, the way he built up his custom. He did a charity sort of thing. He increased his logs by £5 a bag, and basically he did a really good thing for raising money for a charity, but he raised his prices by £5 a bag, advertised that £5 goes to charity, and loads of people ordered from him, right? Because £5 will go to this charity cause that he had on a minute. I can't remember what it was, but I can find it out. And he gained loads of custom through that because everyone thought he was doing something really good. And it was really good. It's nice to donate to charity, but he priced that in, right? And the amount of custom he got off the back of that, now when they order through his website, he got all their email information, phone numbers and stuff like that. Every year now, he will email out, and he had loads more new customers, and they've stuck with him since because his wood were good. It's all about getting your product out there. Once they see how good it is. 3 nets is a large back. 1 net from garden centre or food shops. £7.99. Right, there's an issue there, right? I tell you what, one thing that will be a major issue. Never ever compare yourself to garden centres and food shops, right? Never compare yourself to that. Because in that logic, when I look at the price of garden centres for a net or even a bag of wood, I see them going for £10. I see them going for £12 a net, and they're tiny nets. If that logic was correct, then my bags are crumbs to a massive pie. You know, think how many nets I can get out of a bag, 14, 12. Do never compare yourself to garden centre prices. Never. Because they do it for convenience. They get all the old biddies in there as well who go, oh, well, I want to pick up some firewood. They have the meet and greets. They have the coffee days at the garden centres. They might go there for something else and end up picking it up. Petrol stations as well. I see people compare themselves to petrol stations. They all have premium prices that, unfortunately, as sad as it sounds, the actual producers like ourselves and like a lot of the viewers that I have, you will never, ever get the prices and the volume that they sell at from yourself, from your own business. So that, I'd say, Matthew, is your problem straight off the bat. So I'd look at log suppliers, firewood suppliers. You want to see the nets from firewood suppliers, which I'm guessing will be probably about £5, right? If you've got 3 nets to a bag, you need to advertise that. Stack 3 nets up and stack your bag there. Show people what they're getting for their money. If that does not work, then you need to swap over to actual tree softwood wood. And if you're lucky, there might be people like me around in that area where they have a lot of firewood offcuts and waste, like good old Woody Boy, that you might find it easy just to split down with an axe or a splitter or however you do it at the minute, and you can make kindling from that, because that's all kindling is, off-cut waste a lot of the time, unless you put it in as timber round. But you can get good kindling from that, and I'm sure if you were up Woody Boy's way, he'd probably want to make some money, as he just said in there, to sell. If you're down my way, 100%, we do it for a lot of people. But yeah, never compare yourself and prices to a garden centre's price. I know what you're saying, one net, and yours is 3 nets, but they charge $7.99 for 1 net. They always overinflate their prices. It's like murder to me. I don't know how they get away with it. I know one place. Here's a funny story for you all. Yeah, I know one place. I can't say who it is, and I won't say who it is or anything like that. We used to sell netted logs to, right? And this is absolutely gospel truth. We used to sell netted logs. We haven't done it as much these past few years because obviously the bulk bags have been taken over, and we wanted to keep up with that, because we make, I know it's actually, they're easy to make, less man on the job, and easier to produce. For us anyway, our setup. We found, alright, that we would sell them wholesale, £3.95, something like maybe £3 a net, whatever it was at the time. They were selling it for 12 quid, £12 a net, right? And they were selling it really well, and they were buying off us. We were all happy as Larry. When we stopped selling it as nets and said, look, we're struggling to keep up with the nets, we're focused on firewood bags, they said, all right, we'll buy firewood bags off you. We're thinking about doing delivery. And this garden centre, I kid you not, brought it from me at £63 plus VAT per bag, and managed to sell it at £180. I don't know if there was VAT on top of that or that was included. Obviously, I'm not quite sure how garden centres work with the building the prices up, plus they managed to sell it. And they're not far from me, so I was trying to sell in that area after that, and I couldn't hit them prices. So that's the trouble with garden centres. How they do it, I have no idea. They manage to get stupid amounts of money for their firewood. It's brilliant. I can't believe it sometimes. But in short, Matthew, start fresh. I'd recommend going for timber rounds, and once you've got timber rounds, sort yourself out a kindling setup, whether you have a kindling machine or use a splitter or use an axe. Net it, all similar to your local suppliers, whatever they are, so your firewood producers. Try and make it all so it's almost the same. Sell it as the same, then offer a bigger size net and maybe sell it a bit dearer once they've seen it and go, look, oh, you're after this net? Well, I do sell a bigger one and it's only £1 more or whatever. Try that. And when you're advertising it, go down the marinas, go down to your local campgrounds even. Campgrounds in the summer, they're a great way to make some more money. I'm done. I used to give various amounts of kindling for free, depending on size and density. I did transit drops, full half load, but factoring in the cost of the kindling. Again, good marketing. Yeah, that is very good marketing. We've done free kindling before. We don't tend to need to. One thing that I like to do, right, and this is something I've always done, we charge delivery. If you're not charging delivery, you should charge delivery. Or build it into the price of your bags, if you know of a certain area. When it comes to delivery, you should be charging, because you've got either yourself or one of your lads out delivering, right? We have like a radius. £5 delivery, £10 delivery, 15, 20 and £25 delivery. That's sort of our outer skirts of a radius. We will travel up to 1 hour and 15 minutes. A lot of people say, wow, that's a big radius. No. Where we first started our original yard, we were near a town centre. We're not going to give them customers up because we built our name around there. When we moved to our new yard, which was, I think, about 1 hour away, it takes 1 hour to get there anyway, so we might as well do 1 hour in any direction, because you know what, trying to get into the city sometimes is a pain in the backside. So we try and, you know, service the whole area, and hopefully we go more out the way than down there. But we have some really, really, really good customers down there. We charge delivery. Now, when we do a sale, so it's very rare, sometimes we do a Black Friday sale, sometimes we don't. Sometimes we do a spring sale, sometimes we don't again. Depends what our stock level's doing. If we can keep getting stock in and we're seasoning and we're ahead of the curve, we'll try and get some early sales in and just keep, you know, filling back up and try and knock some of our customers off our list a bit earlier so we can service more customers in the winter. And what we find is, if you offer a 5% discount or a 10% discount on their order, if they spend, let's say they spend 50 quid with you, £100, 100, say £200 with you, £300. 10% of 300 quid is 30 quid, right? 30 quid with 10% off. It's, you know, if you're going to offer free delivery anyway, then you're losing a fiver, really. You know, your delivery covers it, taxes cover it as well. You know, tax write-off and profits. So always charge for delivery and then offer a deal. That's what I've always said. Always have a standard delivery charge. You cannot deliver for free. I see people doing that, and unless you've priced that into you would already. People who don't price that in, I can guarantee you they don't do as well as some of the people scaling up their firewood businesses. Because, you know, some people I hear go, oh, that bloke over there selling his wood for £150 a bag. Well, does he deliver for free? You went, yeah, well, that's why they do it for £150 a bag, because it's never free. I don't care what anyone says, nothing's free. It costs you. Fuel costs you, time costs you. If you've got a bloke delivering all day, every day of the week in the winter, you've got to pay for that bloke somehow, and that's priced into the bags. So, always bear that in mind. Price it into your bags, or charge it visibly, and don't try and do free delivery and sell your bags at £100 or £80 a bag, because you're not going to work. On a large scale anyway, maybe on a small scale, very small radius, but I can't see that myself. Nine people on. Go on, who else is on then? Who's watching, who's lurking in the background? Well, I've got a few of you on. I did want to mention something, and I appreciate you all being here anyway. This year, I'm thinking about doing something for men's mental health. Now, as far as I'm aware, obviously, I'm not an expert in this. I don't suffer with mental health. I have never suffered with mental health. As far as I'm aware, I probably don't understand it the best. This year, I'm going to do a few bits of merch, right? And I'm not like, it's going to be fun merch, funny merch. And what I want to do, make a few items, and I'm going to put them on the YouTube shop, and I'm going to put them on our website, and it's going to be for men's mental health. And it's going to be some jumpers or some mugs or something, and I want everyone to take photos with it held up, and I want to try and get around the entire forestry community, firewood community, ARB community, and I want to try and pass it round, and I want us all to stand together for Men's Mental Health Day, because I've heard a few things over the past couple of years, and there's some good people that have been lost to mental health, and I think it's a big thing in this industry, and I'd love for you all to take part. I'll even come down to we'll try and come down to each one of you, try and hand deliver it ourselves if we can, depending on what the demand was, obviously. Try and get a few bits over to America, Canada, and I would love us all to come together for Men's Mental Health Day and say, look, we all stand together. We are working men, women as well, women can take part, but we are all working men. We're hard workers, and mental health does matter. And off the back of that, all the proceeds that we generate from it will go to charity. So we're going to set a few bits up. I'm in talks with a load of companies at the minute, and we are going to all stand together as a community that we are and promote the hell out of it, make it aware. Because I'm telling you, this industry is damaging. I've seen people go from up there with their businesses, sky high, and hit rock bottom. And the reason why they hit rock bottom, whether they run out of cash flow leading up to, you know, trying to hold out for summer, August, and that mental health side of things does take its toll. You know, they might have accidentally purchased too much timber, brought something that they maybe shouldn't have, and it can affect the family life, mental health life, everything. So this year we are all going to stand together and show our support for men's mental health. So if anyone has any other ideas, something cool to do, drop me a message. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Woody, I like that. Thank you very much, Woody. Appreciate you. I've lost the feed. It's on there, but I can't see anything. 1 minute. I'm back on with the feed. There we go. Jaff, you finally made it to our date. You stood me up. I thought, I was going home a single man tonight. You know how it feels. Jaff got stood up for my date. You made it. Didn't you do some shooting today? Jaff, if you missed it, I was just telling everyone that we're going to be doing some men's mental health stuff for Men's Mental Health Day this year. I think it's in November. We're going to be doing some merch, just something fun like, I don't know, keep on splitting or whatever. We'll figure something out. It's in development, and we're going to get us all standing together and share it around the industry. We've got forestry members on, hauliers, we've got machine suppliers, ARB guys, forest guys, firewood guys, UK and abroad, and we're all going to do it. Going to try and get the whole community involved, and we're going to make it work. So we're going to, make some jumpers and some stuff, and we're going to put it on the shop, and all proceeds will go straight to the Men's Mental Health Foundation, or whatever it's called. In a way, I haven't even looked into that far in yet. I've still got to work it all out, but I'm going to get some people on that for me anyway to deal with all that side of stuff, but we are definitely going to make that happen. Pest control this morning, then wood processing this afternoon. Very nice. Sounds like a busy day, that does. What, you been on the birds, or you been on the ratting? Literally just speak about that, Jeff. I'm glad that you're supported. Sorry to hear about that. The industry's lost some good people as well, and it's sad to hear that men taking their life, even women, all sorts of mental health is a big problem. But I was saying, this industry, firewood, ARB, everything's difficult. We all have our seasons, and some people don't make it to the next season. They struggle, they get caught up in a lot of stuff. And if there's anyone out there, if there's anything I can do to help you out, whether it's advice, whether it's, you're struggling with something, drop us a message. Come on these live chats, ask away in this community, and I'm sure someone or myself would be able to help someone out in any sort of way. Whether you've had a stressful week, you got to put it here. If you've got a question, or you're struggling to make it through to the next season. I was just saying not long ago, I know a chap who, overspent on a bit of timber, and he couldn't make it through to the next season, and he suffered greatly with mental health. Thankfully he's still here and stuff like that, but he suffered really bad, and it'd be a great way to promote it. Did you manage to sell the processor on Facebook, Joe? Yes, I did. Yeah, that was a while ago. I had tons and tons of inquiries about it. I had a few people wanting to come down. Issue was my availability. I shouldn't have uploaded it when I did, and I was very busy, so I was struggling to actually sort it out to come down to actually sell it. But then one chap called Matthew, or Matt I think it was, came down, brought it, took it back, and I'm sure he's from up north, and he took it all the way back up, and he was happy chappy as far as I'm aware. That was a little time ago. Got to wait for this to catch up. So we've got 9 people at the minute, so hello everyone. I went down the wrong hole. Ugh. That's why you should always drink water, people. So at the minute, I've not even watched myself choke yet. Just started choking now. So I'm going to be wrapping up soon. Got a few bits on. As supply, turn up at the yard, heading back to clear that lot up. Wow, what, did you get all that processed this evening, or did you stack it away for another evening or day? How would you get out that position of overbuying timber? So, excuse me, I've got to stop drinking pot on my life here, that's disgusting. So, overspending, right? Before you even talk specifically about timber, you need to look at your seasons, right? You know, or you should know, that you'll be selling, let's say, realistically, you'll be properly selling, guaranteed, end of September, start of October, to, let's say, the end of February, start of March. The seasons are changing a bit. I've had early buyers, you know, in August, when I first started people buying well at the early of June. So when you take into factor that you need to plan that you're only selling, I don't know, let's say October to February, then anything before that's a bonus and everything after that's a bonus, right? So once you know what you sell or how much you're going to sell, you need to budget. You need to work out how much your yard rent is, how much it's going to cost you to pay your house, mortgage, rent, family, whatever. And you need to put that money aside for the month that you're not going to be earning anything or as much, right? Once you put that aside, this is how I do it. Once you've put that aside and you'll be left with a pot, let's say that pot has 10 grand in it, 15 grand, 20 grand, maybe even have 5 grand in it. And you go, right, I want to buy some wood or buy this or buy that. You've got a choice, right? You can either spend that money and go and buy it, or, this is what I would do, go out working for someone, work for yourself, maybe have some wholesale sales, work out how you're going to do it, and then keep adding money to that pot, right? And then only spend what's in that pot. So that way you don't overbuy, you don't overdo things, and you've already got your comforter there. And every year that comforter is going to build up. Now let's just say I'm not an idiot. Things do go wrong, things do happen, and you do dip into, let's say, the pot you should never dip into. It's not the end of the world, but you just shouldn't dip in too much. That's what I say. So that way you can't overbuy, can't overspend, and if you get talked into it, it's kind of your fault. And if you do overspend, you can sell back at cost, but the best thing is to try and avoid that. Have your pot set up. Pot for maintenance, pot for yard rent, pot for mortgage and family and kids, pot for flipping timber, and then that way you cannot go wrong. That's what I'd recommend anyway. But then what you do tend to find out is, imagine if you started earning more money in the summer, spring. You know, we've had some good wholesale bits this month, and we've got some good stuff coming in next month. So, you know, my pot's already grew loads. Do I need all that in there for timber? No, but am I going to use it for timber? Damn straight I am. We're going to be buying timber, you know, next month and the month after. And, you know, try to stock up. You know, you can hold on to it. But I've always said, anything in that pot, in people's yards, in people's, you know, businesses, you will find something to spend it on, whether it's a machine, whether it's a new saw, whether it's maintenance so it breaks down. So if you can spend it on timber, that's probably the better of investments you can spend it on. Got a lot of mobile processing coming up, so every penny of that will always go to my timber. We always say the mobile processing, the side bits we do, will always fund the firewood, because the firewood's the investment and it will turn around and make us more money. It is, and I don't care what anyone says, it is the strongest, best investable thing you can buy for material. It's got a faster return than gold. Okay, you buy gold today at X and you go to the end of the year, unless something mad happens or someone gets nuked or someone gets robbed, that gold is going to be increased in price, but not as much as your timber would. The drier it is, the better it is. You know, the better you sell it, the more work you put into it without putting obviously money into it. That timber's going to be worth more. You're going to have a better return than gold on that. You know, you'll be able to double it, you know, especially when you come to the end of the year when no one's got any season stock left. and then buy gold with the money you get from your timber. Manage 8 cages, done sort the rest tomorrow. Very good, very good. Strong 8 cages for an afternoon. Great idea there, mate. It's hard to turn down offers, timber, especially when they're local and cheaper. 100%. So that's why when I do my budgeting, I don't budget for, let's say, to the end of the year, I'll put 2 pots. So I'll say from February to June, that's our survival money. And then from June till, I don't know, August, that's our survival money, our emergency money, our doomsday money, which, touch wood, we don't have to tap into. And then if something does come up, you can look at tapping into it in the future when you're closer. But always remember, you got to always have 3, 4, 5 months of emergency money there. And just keep building on it every year. Build on it every year. I know it's hard to turn down cheap stuff, free stuff, whatever. Work it out. Sit back saying, can I sell it? If you're holding on to it to the end of the year, you might struggle. That's all I'm going to say. It's always good to invest your money in stock. Yeah, you can resell it again. Maybe at the same price. You might not make anything on it. You might make a little bit on it because it's been sat in your on it seasoned. But realistically, if you think about it, you'll always have some money for timber there. So let's just say in a year you make 100 grand, right? You've turned over 100 grand at the end of the year, 50 grand, whatever it is, for 300 grand. If your rent and mortgage and stuff like that are going to cost you anywhere near that, then you're not making enough, and you know, you have to either charge more or sell more, you know. So you still have quite a bit of money there to buy things with and do your running costs. I'm not talking like you're going to be living hand to mouth every time. I'm talking for the people who maybe jump a bit too far. Say they're having 10, 20, 30 loads of timber, 5 loads of timber, but they've only got money for 2, you know, or they might just have that and no money for anything else. So what I'm saying is, I'm not saying like you're living literally between 20 grand, you know, every year, because if you are, you're going to struggle. I don't think, unless you're getting free wood or cheap wood or waste or whatever, you can do this sort of business off 20 grand and have a large enough scale to make some money. Because if you think about it, let's say your average load of Arctic of timber, what, 2.5 to 3 grand. Some people pay a lot more, some people pay a bit less. You know, you factor in, I don't know, even if you had dirt cheap yard rent, you take that out of it, and then you take out, you know, your cost of a couple of loads of timber. You're living off nothing all year round, and you might do it for a bit of beer money at the end of the year. But if it's your proper career, you've got to be scaling them numbers up. Those are rookie numbers. You're going to come unstuck pretty quick. Eight people on. The analytics from these videos are great, by the way. So what I found out with, so when I keep seeing 8s and 7s and stuff like that, they're not actually accurate numbers. So there's like what they are sort of in that time period. So it does it in sections. And when I was having a look, 137 different people viewed my live feed last time. That's crazy. I didn't even know half the 137 people. Some people a bit shy, some people don't introduce themselves. So again, I know I say it often, go on, introduce yourself, say hello to Woody, say hello to Jaff, say hello to Matthew. Obviously Mark's just had to go because he's with his grandson, but you know, introduce yourself. I really want to get to know you all. It'll be great. You know, a lot of people message me and contact the business. It's great. Let's get some chatting in. Let's have these conversations here. You know, you make some good friends here, to be fair. Jaff, great friend. I'm sure James is going to be a great friend for years to come. You know, we're all friends here. We're all keeping it nice. And for those of you who didn't know at the start of the feed, I was going to do a few bits in here while I was doing this, but it's a bit messy. I haven't had a chance to come back in here since the last live feed. So what we're going to do, I'm going to tie this place up, and I was going to do something, but the compressor's a bit loud. So any post arrived at yours yet, mate? Actually, funny you should say that, Jaff. No, and if you've sent me something, thank you very much, appreciate you as always. But no, we haven't had any posts, I think, for about 3 days, maybe a bit more. And I thought about that the other day. I thought, babe, have I got any letters? No, nothing's come through today. I'm thinking, Usually I get some junk mail, I get bits and bobs come through each day. And yeah, so I wonder if our postman's off or our post has got lost somewhere. I'll soon find out. If it's got a bill in it, I don't mind if it, you know, travels a little bit and then takes its time to get to me, you know. Definitely on its way. Thank you very much, Jeff. Always appreciate you. I'll be Team Black Bear. We'll get rid of the Log Bears Lounge. I'll get rid of the JPS stuff. I'll just be Team Black Bear. I'll come up and work for you. You know, you can house me. Give me a caravan with no wheels, so I can't go nowhere. Give me some running water, and I'll be your labourer. I'll be the bear at Black Bear Firewood. I sat in the background for a while and really glad I started asking questions. No question is stupid. I've learned a lot last week or so by talking, so don't be shy, guys. Appreciate you, Woody. I appreciate your feedback. I've enjoyed chatting to you too. I want to see how well you progress moving forward as well. So, you know, I'm expecting updates every 2 weeks. Every week you got a question, or I want to see how well you get on. And one thing I will say about this community, I would love seeing people grow. I don't care if you're my competition. I don't care if you work for me and then you don't want to work for me ever again. As long as you've walked away and learnt something, or you've walked away and you've bettered yourself, I'm a happy person. As long as you ain't stole from me, that's a bit different, you know. People bet themselves by, you know, taking me wallet out of the car. No, it's yeah, so I like seeing people develop, better themselves, take some advice. The fool is the guy that doesn't. That's the question. True. Questions are what make the world go round. I learned something the other week from a chat. Just I can't remember what it is now, but at the time I thought that's a clever thing, and I bet when I go to do something again, I'll go, oh, that was what it was, and I'll go and use it. But every day's a learning day. Every day's a learning day. Oh, I've also got this idea, and I'm going to film it. I'm 100% going to film it. So we're going to get 4 bag holders, right? I'm going to draw it. I'm going to draw it. He says he's going to draw it. Come on, I need to draw. Why have I got nothing in here? I have all the rubbish in here. Them Oregon boxes are tough, guys. They rip everywhere but where you want them to rip. Right, let me find a pen. So, a lot of you don't know, I build my own bag holders. I'm going to do a video on that anyway, and I'm going to show you using them. In fact, you might have seen it in one of the woodland video where we're processing. Right, excuse the drawing. Right, this is my idea, guys. Stay with me. So, usually, you'll have a fuel wood cleaner or a cleaner. If you haven't got it on the end of the conveyor, you'll have something freestanding, right? So we have a green fuel wood cleaner, and I would show you, I don't even know if I've got any pictures on my phone, but we have a fuel wood cleaner that's freestanding. Your logs come off the conveyor, smack the cleaner, get cleaned in a fashion, and then bounce into the bag, right? It's like a slide. That's that slide, right? Now, we have bag holders that hold bags open, they're on wheels, you can push them out of the way and do whatever you gotta do. I thought of a genius idea. You can't have 2 bag holders next to each other on a freestanding cleaner because you can't move the freestanding cleaner over, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build almost like a square. You're going to fill from the diamond almost. You'd always have that guy on the floor, you know, swapping bags over and stuff like that. Now, let's say that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. You'll have 4 bags. You can do it with just 2, you know. Yeah, I'll do a 2 one as well for you. Right. 1, 2, and then cleaner there. So you got a 4 and a 2, right? Imagine if that can rotate, and then you got your guy on the forks, ready, excuse the drawing, to pick the bag up that you've turned away. That side you have to fill it on the diamond, so you just turn and keep filling it on the diamond. That side you can just, you know, switch between. Now, if you made a frame, you had your bag holders, and you could lift out, you can essentially get a lorry hub wheel or a tractor hub wheel, set it on the floor as a base, weld off of it, and you'll be able to spin it round and fill up individual bags. I'm just saying, I think that's a winner there, because what we find is with our processor, the faster you can process wood, and you know, yeah, on a turntable, yeah, literally just keep turning it round, so you never stop processing. Because one thing that we find is you can have the best processors in the world. You can have the Splitter 400, you can have the Uniforest, you can have the Posh, you can have the Palux, right? You're only as quick as you're filling. And what we find on our, you know, Uniforest and even our Splitter 400, it takes longer to switch the bags than it does to fill a bag. So on our Uniforest, we'll be operating away. We can turn the conveyor off, fill the conveyor. That holds roughly about a bag. And then you engage the conveyor once they've put the bag on, and it fills it again. Imagine just being able to constantly fill. So again, I'm going to make it, I'm going to video it as well, and I'm going to try it. Bag holders on a turntable. We're going to try 4, and we're going to fill into diamonds. Well, on the diamond, on the corners. And then I'm also going to do a 1 and a 2, right? So I'm literally going to be able to just flip it around. And that's what I'm going to try. I tell you what, you could do it as a 4 like that, as if you did it more, I don't know. If you did it like that but didn't use the middle, you could do it as a 4 that way as well and spin through the middle. That there, I think, will be a great way of keeping up production. Another thing as well that I thought of when you do that, imagine you got a bloke on the splitter or a woman on the splitter, right? And you've got someone on that machine. You could be filling multiple bags up. Yes, 100% Jaff. You could be filling bags up from all angles, and you got one bloke or woman on a telehandler taking them away without stopping your processing. As I said, you can have the best processors in the world, you can have the best splitters in the world, but you're only as quick as you can change them bags. That's it. Unless you're going loose, obviously. But that I'm going to video, demonstrate, and show you all what I come up with. Cages again, even if you did a flat base and you didn't have it as a bag holder, just to put your cages on. You know, you can just rotate your cages around. I think that is going to be a great little addition we're going to do to our yard. I'm going to video it. I'm going to get some measurements and watching line. Yeah, I should have started with that. I wouldn't have had to draw the diagrams, but no, I'm going to make it. It's going to be 100% a thing, because what I learned was, and I want to say thank you. If anyone's got any more feedback, that'd be great. Thank you for all the feedback of the last video. I've had messages, I've had comments, I've had all sorts. I didn't realise how much bagging and storage and selling in quantities were an issue for businesses. Things that they needed help with seasoning, things that they needed help with storing and moving and filling. It sounds like a lot of people have got like the processing, splitting and the timber side of things done. It's the afterwards. What did they do after? How did they make things better after? And I think that is what people are reaching out to me more, saying they want to see, maybe like, you know, bag holders and stuff. I can only fill 3 cages on my processor, changing the N1 at first once full. See, that's the thing. So do you change it on your own, or do you have someone working down there with you? Like on my processor, if I didn't have the cleaner, or if I put a cleaner on the actual end of the processor itself, I can slew left to right, and then if I tilt it further down, she will obviously go a bit past like that, so I can get the back to. If I did 6 and span it round, I'm talking like a big lorry wheel bearing you know, or a tractor hub, yeah, with the good bearings in, if you can just spin it around with ease, someone could be picking off the other side whilst you're putting it on. So anyone who's just come on, I've seen a lot of new people. We're talking about a new filler for bags. So you put your bags in there, or your cages there on a flat plate with a wheel in the middle. There you go. Tell you what, what I'll say about there. And you just, so that's your conveyor, you just, that stays still, and you just feed in each bag just by someone pushing it around. And as someone's pushing it around, you got someone just taking off from the other side. You're not in their way, you're not stopping. I'm telling you, all these processors and everything everyone's buying. I seen this bloke the other day, and he was chatting, and he said he's going to buy this processor and that processor, and he's going to have a big operation set up. Well, then that means you've got to be buying more forklifts, telehandlers, tractors. You've got to move the stuff you're processing, unless you're just doing it literally into a barn, which is fine, but that's limited. I think you're limiting yourself there, doing a job twice. I'm telling you, something like that can benefit a lot of businesses. I'm surprised I haven't seen as many. You could base it off posh, I'm thinking you mean a net wrapper. Yeah, something like that. And wouldn't it be a cool thing? Now, I think I'm over engineering this. I do this sometimes. I go back to simple idea. Wouldn't it be a cool thing, right, if you added a valve lever block, right, to it, so that's run off your machine, you just turn it around like that, pull the lever and it spins. She called me Einstein. I've got an exciting idea for this. I'll keep it basic, make the basic one, and see if I can tweak it, but wouldn't that be a cool thing? Just on a motor spinning around. See you later, Jeff. Appreciate you. I'm off it anyway in a minute, because I've got a few bits to do myself. Got to edit the video. Have a good weekend, Jeff. Have a good time in the pub. You know, happy Easter to anyone who's watching as well. And I'll see you very soon. So, yeah, that's the next thing. And for anyone who hasn't seen my original bag holder, it's literally just a frame and the lid lifts off with the bag on it. You pop it down like that and it releases the bag. I am doing a video on that as well, because everyone that comes to my yard or when I go mobile processing, I take it with me, they're like, wow, that's so simple. Why didn't I think of that? Why have I got an X-frame holder that goes like that and you have to mess around with? Literally, it's a frame, a cube frame, and the lid removes. So you hook your bag on, fill it all up. The lid has like hooks. You just put your forks in, lift up, and as you go down like that, your frame stays on your forks and it releases the bag on the floor. You can even do it in the pile, in the stack. We've been doing it in the stack. I tell you what, most of the stuff you've seen in that woodland on that video was out of using that. I'm sure if you look closely enough, I know it's in time lapse, you will see our bag holder there. And the amount of people that say, can I take photos? Can I copy them? Yeah, go for it. We're all here to help each other out, make our lives easier. 10 people on, course, say hello if you're on. Let's see who's on. Let's get to know you. Are you a firewood producer? Are you just a spectator? You're fascinated by the industry? Are you arborist, logger? What do you do? Are you none of those? Got 11 people on. Say hello. No, because a lot of people, believe it or not, get a bit nervous about messaging in the comments. We get quite a bit afterwards, so we get quite a few messages. I had someone email me as well. That was quite nice. Well, I didn't get a chance to respond to that email actually. I was meant to do it end of last week, but someone emailed the business, and then I got passed that message on to me at the end of last week. And I think it may have been Matthew who was in earlier, but yeah, so I haven't had a chance to get back to him yet, but I probably will. But I'm sure I've answered his question in here. I'll probably call it a night at 9 o'clock UK time. I'm not going to stand till 9:30 tonight, so I've got a few bits to do. So, anything else anyone wants to ask before I go? Any introduction, any questions? Could be anything. Could be speed of a tractor compared to powering a processor with a generator. It could be maintenance, saw bits. It could be bagging things, bag sizes, pricing, marketing. Anything you want to ask, feel free to ask. Have you tried YouTube vertical? You get a lot more. Do you mean when it's up that way? So well, yeah, this is coming across as landscape on my screen, so I'm guessing that's the same as yours. Yes, I have, and not many people liked it because they tried to view it without it being vertical. So unfortunately, obviously, I switched it back to horizontal. I call it landscape and portrait. Obviously, I grew up in a primary school, so I got primary school head on my landscape and portrait. I don't think of horizontal and vertical. Some great engagement tonight, folks. Appreciate you all being here. Where are you all from? Feel free just to chuck that in there, because I'm always fascinated to see how people do things in other parts of the place. We had a couple of Canadians on last week. We've got obviously Mark on. He comes on quite a bit. He's from America. And an Irish chap messaged me 2 weeks ago on the live feed from 2 weeks ago. They're obviously over in Ireland. They're implementing the UK's ready to burn sort of scheme thing over there. I don't know what it's going to be called or how it's working out, but they are spending a lot of time, their businesses over there, trying to look at our businesses to try and see what they can do to get ahead of that curve and get things implemented ready. So that's going to be an interesting one. I've just done another article for the Forestry Journal on kilns and kiln drying. Drop us a comment as well if you season or if you kiln dry your stuff. That'd be interesting to know. We season. South Scotland, yes, I remember you saying last time, Woody. South Scotland, obviously you're going to be taking all the turf up there when you start saying your logs. You're going to be taking over everyone's patch, I should say. Woody's logs. Woody the Woodman. I wanted Woody's logs, but it's been taken. Oh. You got to get on some competitive. Do what Elon Musk did. I know we're all you know, we're not as rich as Elon Musk. Just go up to him and stay outside his house every day until he sells you the name. So yeah, Woody's logs have been taken. Just try to think of something for you, Woody. Can't think of anything. If I think of something, I'll get back to you on it. Alright, 5 more minutes I'm coming off, everyone. So if you want to ask anything, let me know. I won't be on messages too much tonight, so once I finish, I'll probably be finished tonight. Got a few bits to do and chill out. Obviously, feel free to drop me a message if I reply, but obviously 9 out of 10 maybe tomorrow, Monday, I managed to get a reply over. Tell you what, I remember showing it before. I'll show you all again. So we all talk about side earners and what we do, what we make and stuff. You know, side earners are good in this business. So we do, you know, mobile processing. We do all sorts, right, in the firewood industry. Another side earner we do. We sell to businesses as well who like to give their customers a treat. You know, whether you're fitting a stove or they've purchased a lot of firewood. So this is what we call our wax melt burners. So it's a tea light. It looks like a log burner. It's made out of British steel, British made, and you put your wax melt inside the copper pot on top, and it releases a scent into your room. We sell absolutely tons of these. We do have a lot, so I'll put that on there. Let's see if I can angle that down a bit for you. I think it's that one. There you go. Excuse the mess. So, you see, it don't look as good when it's down there. I'll probably angle that back up. Yeah. There we go, we're back on. So we've got that one, but then we also do, this one's a bit messy because it's been sat in my garage for so long. We also do a larger one that people usually put in the gardens and stuff. Great little things. We sell tons of them. People love them. So, if you want one, again, feel free to message. But if not, things like that, ideas like that sell. So, great bits of advice there. So if you come up with a good idea, you never know what will sell. So my missus was the inspiration for that one. Woody, I will send you one out. Drop me your address and I'll send you one out. You want one, you can have one. I'll send you one. Yeah, my missus was the inspiration of that. I don't get incorporated into the house dynamic, for example. So, you know, there's a lot of greys, whites and ornaments. And being a timber messy bloke, the most ornaments I get is the sawdust I leave behind. So we did that, and we worked with the designer, we were sorting stuff out, and yeah, a lot of women are, and that's what I did. And you know what, we've got some white ones coming in as well. We're launching them in a few weeks, and I bet we did end of December-ish. I bet we did about 400, 450, something like that. Something like that. So in for about just over a month, we did, I think, 450 in total in just over a month. But obviously we're very unique. They're very difficult to make. Don't worry about it, Woody. Just send me your address and I'll send you one out. I'll send you one up to you. Gift on me. Again, I do apologise, everyone. I'm going to have to take a look at this because this is so far out on my screen. So I'm looking like the chat's alive, but the video on this screen isn't live. So I'm guessing, so right now I've just offered Woody a free burner. Yeah, I'm going to take a look at that. It's so weird, it's never been this far out. But no, they are great. They do get a bit warm, obviously. Our original design flaw was we used to have a hole drilled all the way down for it here. It went like a rocket, like an actual log burner, because it was drawing through the front and out the chimney. We had like a 2-hour, 3-hour tea light in there. It went within like 20 minutes. I thought, bloody hell, I can't sell that, they'll burn their house down the next day. So we did it, and we got rid of that hole, and that kind of fixed it. So we've done that ever since, and we sell them every year as like a little side hustle thing, hobby. Well, it was a hobby, and it turned into a side hustle. Adam, hello Adam. How you doing? Whereabouts you from, Adam? I'm glad you like them, Adam. I really am. I really do. But no, so you got the bigger one. This one's a bit, ignore this one, it's a bit fading dead because it's been there. And then you got the smaller one. What you do, Adam? You tree bloke, logging bloke, firewood bloke, spectator, just a log burner. What do you do, Adam? Thank you for joining in, by the way, Adam. Appreciate having you here. Woodburn Logs. Is that a company name or is that We Burn Logs? That'd be a cool company name. Martin just reacted. Which one is it, Adam? You burn logs or you're a company? Yeah, and also don't forget to drop your address, buddy, and I will send you this out. The only thing is, it's not hot yet, but this, it doesn't burn anything, let's say, underneath. I'm out of here. But that there gets super hot. It's actually not too bad at the minute. Not too bad at the minute. But no, they're great. Put your wax melts inside. It smells absolutely beautiful. And we're a small company. Well, happy to have you here, Adam. We really are. You have any questions? You want any information, knowledge? We're most of us are firewood producers. Feel free to ask. We get quite a few people in the comments trying to help out. Good to have you here, bud. But I forgot what I was saying now. But yeah, it took a lot of engineering to make it how it was, and yeah, we sell tons with it. Obviously, we've got some white ones coming out, we've got some grey ones, and they always do well, especially in the group chats. Blimey, got 13 on now. I was literally about to go as well. I thought, well, I'll probably call it a night, but if everyone's coming back on now, stay on, introduce yourself, say hello, tell me who you are, whereabouts you're from. You're all good to know. If you have any questions, any information, if you want some information on the last video I did, feel free to ask. We did a bagging video, bags versus cages. If you want any business tips that I could try and help you with, any questions, I'm sure someone here in the comments will be able to help you. All about building a community. And again, while we've got everyone on, this year, November, we're doing something for men's mental health, getting out some jumpers. All proceeds will go to men's mental health charity, and I want to try and get all around the industry, whether it's forestry sector, arborists, firewood producers, businesses, anyone, you know, for men's mental health in November. We're going to get some jumpers out there. I'm going to try and deliver most of them myself if I can, depending on how many orders are going. I said that about mini log burners when I was going to do it local, but then, you know, people started buying all over the place. So yeah, definitely keep your eye out for that one. And if you want to see anything in particular as well, let us know here. We all work together, so keep me updated. Thank you very much, Woody. Appreciate you. Should I call you James or should I call you Woody? I like calling you Woody. I think that's a cool name, Woody. Well, this is so far behind, so again, I apologise. Again. So that's telling me, right, so you've replied to that, and I've literally just said that's a cool name. So that's telling me the chat's live, the video for me isn't. So that's good to know, thank you. Right then. Before I go, anyone sure you don't want to ask anything before I go? Done. As I said, if you message me once I've gone, it probably won't be later on. It'll probably be Sunday, Monday. I'll try and get back to you. But I think that'll wrap it all up for today. And hopefully I'll see you all next Saturday. Got a few people coming on next Saturday. I spoke to a few of my American Canadian friends, and a lot of people sadly couldn't make it today because they're on Easter holiday. So again, to everyone, have a happy Easter. Let me know if you're taking it off or not. Well, in fact, don't let me know. Enjoy it if you're taking it off or not, and it'd be good to see you when we're back. Your daughters don't believe you talk to. What's your daughter's name? Drop me a message. Well, no, post in here or drop me a message, and I'll say, hello, I do talk to Woody. Can you say hi? Amelia. Is that Sophia? There you go, Sophia, for me before you go, please. Hi Amelia, hi Sophia. Yes, I do talk to your dad. He's going to be a lumberjack, and you can be a pair of lumberjills. So hello from Leicestershire. I want to see you all splitting wood with your dad, stacking some logs. Where was it? It was on Instagram, or someone posted a story. Do you know the kids that, you know, get involved with the family, and the family that get the kids involved in the business? Oh, I think that's great for the industry and the community as well. Because how many people, realistically, if you think about it, how many people do you think actually go up going, I want to be a tree surgeon, I want to be a lumberjack, I want to sell firewood? You don't hear of it, you know what I mean? So it's absolutely great when you see people getting other people in that industry, and they get their friends over and they're stacking wood and stuff like that. I think that's great. You know, introducing new, fresh blood into the industry, because once all these old timers, you know, finally retired, because I know loads are retiring. I tell you what, I know loads who have retired, come back and retired again and come back again, because it is a great industry. But, you know, by the time, you know, they pack up, you know, we need some young blood. Before I forget to blow that out. That's awesome there, waving at you. There you go. Right. That's sorted then. So, I think that's going to call it for tonight. If anyone's got any questions, again, you can message if you're not confident in the comments yet. The chat's like a lot of people still do. So if you want to do that, you can, but I might not get back to you tonight. It might be tomorrow or Monday. Right, I'll see you all soon, and thank you very much for being here, and I'll see you next Saturday. We'll be dropping another video in the week as well, but I'll see you next Saturday on the next live. Great to have you all here again. Cheers. There we go.